Hello, and welcome back, everyone. All right, quick, what's going to happen now type explanation. We're doing intros and lightning intros and demos, which means y'all get to like optionally come on up here and take about a minute to basically say, hi, like my name is Tantek Celik, and this is my website, tantek.com. And the coolest thing that I think I've done in the last year is I added the ability for myself to post GitHub issues, replies to issues, and responses or reactgy to issues. And so if folks want to line up behind Aaron here one at a time, maybe like about 3 or 4 of you at once, and get ready, then we can queue people up and get people going through as quickly as possible. So Aaron's over here. Whoever wants to go after Aaron, go ahead, line up behind him. And as long as there's like about 3 people there, just keep lining up. Once there's about 3 or 4 people up, then no rush, just stay seated and wait till the queue drops back down. All right, so with that explanation, that inspired me to add in-stream reply context, which seems like a small thing, but is this like little gray thing on my home stream to say, when you see this note, it's actually a reply to something else. In this case, it's a reply to this particular issue on there. And that's just like interspersed with all my other notes that I post to my site, photos, responses to tweets, RSVPs, and I'll just show you one of these GitHub responses in particular. Let's see here. Still working on getting HTTPS working on my website. And that's okay. It's okay to have things that are broken. It's always things to improve. All right, so here's what it looks like on my site. It looks like just another comment, but I can also view it on GitHub. Assuming that loads, and there you go. So there is the copy on GitHub that I didn't interact with at all. This happened completely automatically from my website posting it, talking to Bridgie posting it on GitHub on my behalf. And this is an issue I commented on the Beaker browser project, which is an awesome attempt to create essentially like a whole different way of storing and sharing information that's completely client-to-client decentralized. Not just decentralized at the server level, which is a lot of things that we do in the IndieWeb, but down to the client level. And so I figured it was a good place to demonstrate, hey, I can decentralize your centralized use of GitHub with my website. Anyway. And that's it. So that's my demo. Aaron? One more thing I should add is that we actually have been running with a Berlin remote participation site since this morning. So there's about 8 or so people in Berlin that are watching live and are in the chat live on chat.indieweb.org. So if you want to like log on there and say hi, you can say hi, especially Annika. Thanks to Annika for setting that up, and they're remote participating. So that's
until like 2, right? Because then it's like bedtime there.
Yeah, as long as they can stay awake, exactly. Time zones.
Yeah. If you have something you can just pull up on a URL, we can avoid switching laptops, and you can just use mine. Hi, I'm Aaron, aaronpk.com. Oh, you can't see my screen. Let's do that again. Great. aaronpk.com. I don't have a whole lot of updates on my site that I've done recently because I've been mostly working on the reader stuff. But one of the things that I did relatively recently, actually at the last IndieWebCamp Baltimore, which I'm still pretty thrilled about, is this little pixel art grid thing. So if you go to my website, and you can actually start clicking these and change the colors. And oh, it looks like someone's racing me. And as soon as it stops changing for like 5 minutes, it takes a snapshot, and they all get posted in a feed here, so you can see what it's looked like over time. Pretty fun. So that's my demo. And do you want to use your laptop?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a bunch of tabs. Sorry. All right, let's see if the AV gods smile upon me. That's exciting. Wow, it worked. I'm going to hit the green button. Look at that. I have notes. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason McIntosh. This is my homepage. It is at jmac.org. As I've been saying to Aaron and Tantek and a lot of y'all over the last 24 hours or so, I sort of moved sideways into discovering IndieWeb only at the top of the year, and I've been hurriedly applying it to many things. Yeah, that's my homepage. You can see at the top there is a pronunciation here in IPA, which if you click on that, it plays a nice MP3 of my voice. That is mentioned on the pronunciation page of the wiki, and that came out of a conversation on the IndieWeb chat between me and Martijn van der Ven, and I know how to pronounce his first name because he did the same trick as me. And I just double-checked that just now. The main reason I'm into IndieWeb is its potential for blogging and self-publishing. I keep a blog at fogknife.com. It's just yet another vanity domain. I've been working on this since 2014 on my own static site generator called Plurd, which also has a page on the IndieWeb wiki. It is a static site generator. It has a mention on StaticGen. If you're interested in the idea of static site generators, you can see that this is basically if you want to make a thing and you want to like learn a new programming language or something else, you can join many other people in writing a static site generator in the technology of your source. I think Plurd is about halfway down. I was actually just looking, and somebody added a star to it, like just today on GitHub, so thank you, according to this. So, yeah, it's also free and open source software. It has a GitHub page. You will note it has two branches because the other branch is the IndieWeb branch. It's version 2. Don't use it, but if you want to, it's there, and it has no documentation. But among the things actually, going back here. So what if IndieWeb stuff that I've added to Fogknife is, oh look, backfeed. This is what really got me into IndieWeb. There's nice face files here and comments that are grabbed by way of Bridgie from Twitter and appear here as web mentions. I run my own web mention endpoint, and some of these, so yeah, you can tell which ones are tweets and which ones are more sort of bare naked web mentions by whether or not sometimes there's an icon there or not. It can also send web mentions now, so I sort of have a, that includes web mentions that my blog sends to itself. When I link to one of my own posts, those appear as sort of backlinks on the post, so it makes sort of a homegrown related post feature by accident, which is kind of cool. So I know I'm running more than a minute, so to skip ahead, I haven't released or documented the version 2 of Plurd, but I have been releasing some libraries for the Perl programming language, which Plurd is written in, including Web Microformats 2 and Web Mention. These are all singing, all dancing modules that you can find on the CPAN. Web Mention has an object-oriented model for building and receiving and sending web mentions in the Perl programming language. I would very much appreciate feedback on any of this technology, and that's what I've been working on. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Chris Aldrich, and I am at bafosaco.com, if I spell it right. We know who never visits my website. Mostly because he reads it in his reader, I bet. So I've done a lot in the last year, but I'm going to mention one thing that I've done this week, and it actually doesn't appear in the setup on the front page here. So I support all of these different types of posts that you see in the mini menu at the top. The next one I'm going to add is highlights. So I have tried to
I do a lot of reading online. I annotate, I highlight, I keep a lot of data for everything I read and consume online and things I find interesting. So because I do that, I thought I would create a post type to solely capture highlights that I make on other websites. And the first one I did was not only to create a setup so it's easy to other people to read, but for me to consume on the back end as well. But if you click on the link for the link itself, it should automatically scroll and do a yellow highlight on my site, which is using a piece of the IndieWeb, somebody else much smarter than I think it was. I took my inspiration from Kartik Prabhu and Kevin Marks for fragmentions, so that with a few small snippets of code, you can click on a link on a site and go to it. So I was able to highlight this on my site, and I've gotten it working in the last week with Hypothesis, which is an online tool for highlighting. I didn't do a link back, so it doesn't do the full circuit here. But I also can, if I'd rather highlight, if I can. He's got too many pop-ups here. I'll have to fix some of that UI. So I can highlight a piece on my site and click a link, and it will automatically generate a link to that piece that I can then share out somewhere else. And then with this URL, you can then come back to my site and see it. So now I have almost a full round circuit for using Hypothesis Online to highlight stuff, send it to my site automatically, create a view so that others reading it can see, here's where it came from, here's the article, here's the author, here's the highlight itself, and then do a full round trip circuit through those three pieces. And because it's small pieces, it works pretty quick. So, who's next?
Apparently HDMI is over here, so this is going to be interesting. Alrighty. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. All right, I'm at an odd resolution here. Let me just do one quick thing. Did that work? Yes, okay. All right. So my name's Jared White, and my website's jaredwhite.com, and I just basically rebooted everything early this year with basically the principles of IndieWeb in my mind, but I'm just starting to roll out actually implementing like actual IndieWeb technologies under the hood. So literally this morning I was working on adding micro formats and so forth. But design-wise, I really wanted to build something that felt like it was heavily inspired by social media. You could call it scaleomorphism looking at social media. So even though this is my website, I have an avatar, I have things like you can follow me, which is actually sign up for my email newsletter, or I have RSS and JSON feeds. You can instant message me, which is really just an email form, but I'm trying to introduce UI elements that people who aren't super nerd techie people might be familiar with. List of projects on one side, list of my latest podcast or posts on the other side. And I'm experimenting with different types of posts. So there's a link post that is like a little excerpt from another page on the web and my comments on it. I have just tiny, short little micro blog posts, pictures. So even though I'm on Instagram, almost anything I post on Instagram, I actually post on my site as well. I don't have anything fancy set up like Posse, so I'm manually doing it twice, but whatever. And so that's my website, and on the back end of it, I post using software I built in Ruby on Rails, so I can actually just come on here and post a new thought, and it happens pretty quickly. Same with images and other things, podcast episodes, even email newsletters. I actually generate the email newsletter HTML myself through my own software, and then that just gets sent over through Campaign Monitor's API. So at the base level, I'm owning all the content and even the entire process of how I create all my content. And the last thing I'll show real quick is, oh, okay, thank you.
I can either use yours or your dongle. Doesn't matter. There you go. Thank you. Sharing dongle safe? I think it is. I'm guessing it's not these days. I actually know him, so I think it's okay. All right. I'm Jonathan LaCour, cleverdevil.io. Here is my site. I'll just share one brief thing that I've done lately, maybe, possibly. So down here in the bottom right-hand corner of my site, a little thing that you can always see. It shows the current status of my... I'm sitting right in front of it. Okay. You can see the current status of my... Okay. Watch this. Hold on. Whoop. So you can see the current status of my battery. Whoa. If I'm on Wi-Fi network or not, if I'm moving or not, and where my current location is. And if you click on that, it takes you to a page called Now, which actually shows you where I am on a map, right there. And if you're logged in to the account, which I am, I can actually show you actively collecting my location. This was from today, which means I haven't moved much. I'm going to go back one day because I was on an airplane yesterday. And again, this is private to me, so only I can see it. And if the Wi-Fi will work. There we go. It's a very long straight line from Los Angeles up to Portland. And you can see that at one point in time, I was at 36 meters elevation, sitting still, 60% battery. And I'm doing that using Aaron's excellent Overland software, or Overland, or whatever we pronounce it, sending it up to some web services that I wrote, all up on GitHub, and it aggregates it all into S3 and does all sorts of fanciness. So, yeah, yay.
I just want to point out for everybody else demoing, Tantek has a little timer set up here for the countdown. So watch that as you watch for your time.
I'll give you 90 seconds. You got 30 seconds to slot.
All right, I'm AJ. This is my blog. The little reflow thing that you just saw happen, I do not know why that happens. It's, I think, a Chrome bug. It's really weird, like, it doesn't happen if you refresh the page. Anyway, this is not the point. I have not actually done almost any user-facing changes on my website in the last year. The main thing I did was, I like retro things, so I made this little mode where it looks like a monospaced, like, 90s webpage. The other thing that I have done, mostly what I've been spending my time is lazy mention. So this website is completely static. It's built with a static site generator that I wrote because, like, of course. But then I wanted to do outbound web mentions, and so I wrote lazy mention. And the reason I'm showing you a GitHub page is because I have invested exactly 0 time into making a UI for it. But like that is gonna happen real soon now. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, I'm probably missing something, but oh well.
Hi everybody, I'm Gregor. My website is gregorlove.com. See if I can type and talk at the same time.
Notice you didn't capitalize that R. It's not just us in chat, it's you too.
So most recently, over the last year, I've been working on posting read posts. I was doing this manually at first, and I was keeping it really simple. Like, I want to read, here's the title, and I usually link it off to Amazon. Just recently, What? Ah, typo. I launched IndieBookClub.biz, which the homepage isn't very exciting, but you can log in here, and it's a micropub client, so you can post the title, the authors, the ISBN number, or a DOI name if you have that. And it also does tags, and you submit that, and it sends it off to your site. It also shows on, you have your own profile on IndieBookClub.biz, so if your site doesn't support micropub yet, you can still use this and eventually pull it over to your site later when you do support micropub. That's it.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I don't know how to operate a Mac. Okay.
It has keyboard.
So my website is jamie.thesharps.us, but what I really want to talk about is comicrocket.com, because thanks, Eric. Because the thing that I really want to be working on right now is enabling webcomic creators, other people who publish long-form serialized works, fan fiction, whatever, to follow IndieWeb principles. And so Comic Rocket is an example of how not to do this. I've been working on it for 10 years. I'm trying to work out how to do this now. So that's my my thing I'm trying to do next. The thing I did most recently, I wrote a WordPress plugin over the weekend for RFC 5005, which basically nobody has ever implemented or heard of. That's one step in this. So that's my thing. Thank you.
I don't know why I brought up my computer, because I really don't need it. Oh, that's not. Okay, it's sitting on the floor now. I'm Lillian. My domain is anomaly.net. I really don't have that much to demo, but I mainly came up because I felt like we needed a little diversity in the panels. There were a lot of tall people, and I felt like we needed some short people to come up and present. So this is my domain, anomaly.net. The thing that we implemented last year that slightly broke when I put the microformats 2 plugin on, which I would love to see fixed, is I now have check-ins displaying on my front page. And if you click, you get to a map, which is very cool. That's pretty much all I've implemented. And then the other thing I want to show off, which Aaron told me not to show off because I didn't build it, but he built it for me, is anomaly.world, which I went on this trip last year by train from Dublin, Ireland to Shanghai, China. And this is an absolutely freaking awesome map that he built that is all of my Foursquare check-ins. And if you click on them, you can see the pictures I took on my Foursquare check-ins, including, let's go to the Great Wall of China. I feel like that's an exciting way to end this very short demo. Where is the Great Wall of China? Yeah, I'm working on it. All right? It's on the board. And I think it's right there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's hard to find the check-ins in China because there we go, look at that. And we're at the Great Wall at Bottling. And ta-da! Anomaly.world.
Hey, I'm Malcolm. Sorry to break the diversity change that was just happening there, but I am Australian, so maybe that's enough. My website is unicyclic.com, if I can spell. You're missing a bunch of keys here, Aaron. All right. Let's hope my website's up. Cool. So this is my website, and you can actually log into it too if you're interested in checking it out. It's got a built-in reader and a bunch of stuff. My actual homepage is a path on this website. So it's just mal. And it just has a bunch of links, a bit about me. I have a blog on another path. But while I'm here, I'll just go through my links. I think I added some stuff recently. My big project for the start of this year was a crazy thing called IndiePayMe, which is like a distributed ledger. Check it out. I won't click through to it now, but have a look if you want to chat about payment stuff. Yeah, let me know. I'll just go through to my blog. I've got a reader as well, but it's a private page, so I can't show it to you, but there's a public reader at unicyclic.com/IndieWeb with a bunch of people from here that you can have a look at too. And this is what my blog looks like. This is my project for tomorrow, making sure this doesn't happen, basically. Cool. I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Okay. So my name is Jim Pick, jimpick.com. That's my blog. I haven't updated it since last year. This is my third IndieWeb. I drove down from Vancouver, BC. I live in, I've been really active in the DAT project in the last year. I actually quit my job, and I've been working full-time freelancing, building demos for people using these technologies. I'm really excited. The IndieWeb stuff really got me into the other stuff because I'm really excited about the idea, like how cheaply can anybody make a website without having to sign up for things? And things like Bigger Browser are really, really exciting. I've been working on a lot of technologies related to that. This year I've built a collaborative pixel art editor using for a client using the DAT project technologies. And I'd like to just highlight my last project, which was a web-based project I was actually contracted by the Code for Science and Society here in Portland, who runs the DAT project, and it's and it's blogged on their website, and it's a let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. A collaborative shopping list built on DAT. And, okay. And it's based, you can run it on your phone. It's a progressive web app. Works online, offline, or syncs via that. Okay, cool.
Hello, I'm Grant, and it's grant.codes. So, trying to think what the last thing I did was. Got quite a colourful little website. I think something I'm maybe going to work a bit more on this weekend is the theme switcher. You can choose any colour you want to make my website. So if you want dark theme, you want light theme, whatever, you can have any colour and it'll work. The last thing I did was, inspired by Jonathan, I fixed a bit of my map page. So I have a page that has my location as well. There's a lot of false positives on it where places I've not been, but if you leave this running for a long time, it will eventually start loading my trip around North America. And yeah, I think, there we go. So this is where I was driving for the last year. But that's it, I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Matthew Lippincott. This is my first IndieWeb Summit. I'm one of your 3rd gen users looking to connect to some 4th gen users. My personal blog for 9 years now has been headfullafair.com. and it's all about kites and balloons that I like to fly. If you're interested in the latest development in tethered aerostats, you might want to follow me. And I started putting this together as a Jekyll blog, thanks to Michael Rose, who really made all the templates and stuff that I'm borrowing. And I converted it to Jekyll because I wanted to unite not just WordPress stuff that I'd been doing, but posts that were in a custom Bootstrap installation that the nonprofit I used to work for, Public Lab, had created, and put everything I'd done on Flight over the past 9 years in one place. And I've been increasingly able to do that. I guess my real interest in being here is I do quite a bit of documentation. I'm a documentarian, and I've been doing projects like this where I am creating documentation that's internal to a project that then becomes external documentation. I'm really interested in how, with both education projects and also product design, we integrate feedback from a social web into documentation in our own sites in a coherent way. So I'm really interested in learning and standardizing this stuff. And I like drawing stuff. And if you're interested in flying kites, I have a 16-foot banner in the corner that says evict ICE, and I was going to go hang it from a kite down in Fields Park while everyone's stuck in traffic trying to go home. So find me if you're interested. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Emre, and I'm going to show you what I've been working on for the last year. This is an open source JavaScript library that allows people to embed social functionality to their websites, which is the tag basically. And it has IndieWeb compatibility, so all the profiles have HCard, and then all the streams, news feeds have activity streams compatible. And like you see, it's just just a one tag basically, and you can embed this to your static websites hosted on GitHub or anything. Like, let me show you mine, for example. This is my personal homepage on GitHub, and I have my contact. This is for example a GraphJS widget, and so this is just launched recently. You have all the documentation here for embedding forum, authentication, anything, and you can get started from here in just a few clicks. It's just a few steps, easy steps that allows you to start this widgets for your site. That's it.
Hoping this works. I just made it this morning. Okay, great. Cool. So my name is Michael Tumim. This is brand new. So I just discovered IndieWeb this year, and I'm just really excited because I feel like I've been working with the same spirit, the same vision for like 3 or 4 years. So here's a bunch of my stuff. It's been exciting to put it together within the principles. So I just made this personal page. So here's one thing I've been working on is I think these things are complementary. This is a synchronization algorithm or protocol that I'm building into HTTP, which lets you synchronize sites together, which does a lot of the same stuff as these IndieWeb protocols, which are synchronizing data. So you post here and it's synchronized over here. So I think this is probably pretty relevant. I've got a page here for this new version of HTTP that has synchronization. And what I'm building right here, so I'm building email, a new version of the email protocol on top of this new synchronized version of the web, where everything's synchronized. One thing that it lets you do is both have email that's also a blog, because you can send a message to public. Since your email is hosted on the web protocol, anyone can just fetch it. And so you can send a message to the public. So that gives you the equivalent of a blog. It also gives you the equivalent of a social feed because you can send it to lots of people. Here's this little widget I built where you can start selecting some people with their faces, and it suggests more people so that you can start with a couple people and then drag it out and get a lot more friends. So I'm trying to integrate all these things together. I'd love to talk more. I'm just kind of stoked. Okay.
We had a really great streak of people using this laptop and not dealing with IT issues in front of you, and I'm going to be the guy who breaks that streak. HTML, probably, yeah, thanks. Yeah, there we go. All right. Sure. All right. I'm Ryan Barrett. My site is snarf.org. Runs on WordPress thanks to great work from David here and others in the community. So new thing I did recently is read posts. Gregor and other people have been pioneering this, so I posted a book I love to read to my daughter. But I really want to spend my time today. I'm in an unusual position that a lot of my projects see into all of your websites, and so I have it affords me an ability to see some stats and kind of see some community-wide activity, and so I want to show a few of those here. First is a project I launched last year at IndieWeb Summit, IndieMap. Big publicly available crawl of all of your and everyone else's in the IndieWeb websites. So thousands of sites, millions of pages, third of a T of HTML, all publicly available. It's got some nice visualizations here. This is indiemap.org. Does a bunch of visualizations, metrics and stats. Most interestingly, most of you, if you were around last year, so if you go to indiemap.org/yourdomain.json, you can see a ton of analytics about who do you link to, who links to you, which microformats do you use, that kind of thing. The other thing you all may know me from is running Bridgie, which sends comments and likes from silos back to your website. I put together some stats about it now and then, so I'm going to show you just a few. This graph you may have seen. This is since launch growth by feature, backfeed or publish. A notable feature here. No prizes for guessing what that was, but many of you may have heard already. Facebook. Growth by accounts. The other interesting thing here is this little green sliver at the very top is GitHub. Thanks to Tontek for graciously pointing that out. And then finally, my favorite metric for Bridgie is the number of unique domains that have successfully been sent and received a web mention, and that's approaching 2,000 here. And also, you'll notice the blue line, number of web mentions that we know. This is just Bridgie, but successfully crossed 1 million, and we think there's way more than that in the wild total, so we celebrated that recently. So round of applause to you all for making that happen.
Hi everyone, so my name is Jack Jameson, and my website is jackjameson.net. There we go. But the project that I think I'm most excited about that I've worked on in the past year is Yarn's Indie Reader. It's a WordPress plugin, consumes RSS, and HFeed is sort of built upon Whisper Follow with some design inspiration from like Woodwind. But as you've seen, there's also these great readers like Together and Monaco that are using microsub, and I think the mistake I made was not using microsub. So my goal for this weekend is to learn how to use microsub, and my what I would love to do is learn how to turn this into some kind of like WordPress-based microsub server, which would be cool. I don't know how to do it, so please teach me how to do that or help me. Thank you very much.
Thumbs up. Hi, everyone. My name is Marty. My website is my name, Marty McGuire, with a dot before the RE. Oh, what's going on here? That's very bad. Like Ryan, I just recently... Wow, that's extremely weird. Good enough. Like Ryan, I recently added read posts to my site, inspired by Indie Book Club, but that also got me inspired to take all of my Goodreads data and embed it into my site. So I now have a lot of read posts that I need to make look better, but I'm very excited about that. The thing I actually wanted to show today is a little tool that I built on Glitch that I hope can it's open source, so I hope it kind of kickstarts people making a bunch of micropub clients to do random things. This one is called Kapowski. It uses Giphy to find GIFs and then post them to your website. This uses micropub in the background, so being logged in, I can fire this away to my site very quickly. My site is not very fast at compiling. But if you don't have a micropub, you can also just come here and get some HTML to copy and paste. And I want to thank Greg McFerry for that idea, because you can be independent on the web without doing all of the IndieWeb building blocks. While that churns, I would also like to do the remote demos, if that's cool. So we'll kick it off with Martijn first. So Martijn's website, he's at vanderven.se/Martijn, and his demo is his H-card, which you can see all of the information here is human readable, human visible, but has some really fun stuff in here like Hogwarts, yeah, his Pottermore Hogwarts house. All I see is Pottermore, so there's always opportunity. So if you've heard of a micro format for a person, like something that might go on an H card, check and see if Martijn's done it. It's probably there. Next up is Eddie. He's at eddiehinkle.com. He's another remote person today, and this is his website. And one of his cool features is this bar across the top is all the things that he is watching. So this is updated separately from the main feed of his posts. And this one I think is photos. Yeah. So that's a cool design. I like that. And the last remote that I have is Vanessa, whose image you saw earlier, I think, on the Micro Monday. So this is her site, and she has this set up going to micro.blog and then has web mentions showing up on her site as well. And she doesn't know what she's going to do next, she says, because she started from 0 3 months ago, and now she's here. So she feels like this is what a new person can accomplish, which is pretty cool. And let's see if my site was compiled. No, I have to get off of Jekyll, you guys. I really thought my site would have had my GIF up here by now. Oh, yes, yes. Load it. There we go. All right, yeah.
All right, I'm in the process of migrating my blog to Linode. So give you a quick screenshot. I'm using Docker to get isolation. And here is a live view. You can see there's a container for the web server, and a container for the database, and a container for PHP FPM. And I just added a user. So let's go to IndieLogin what? com. Oh, and the Let's Encrypt is running in its own container on demand. And Easy Pass. not quite easy enough. And authenticate. There you go. And it actually has some of my posts. It's not no theme yet, so turns out moving a WordPress blog is fairly involved. So there it is.
Let's see how my connection works here. So for those of you who haven't seen me pop up in like 6 other demos for some reason, my name is David Shansky. I do a lot of the WordPress stuff in the community. So, and yeah, of course we know it that now it will stop working, right? Maybe I should use yours. Oh, it is finally up there? It is disappearing? Okay. Oh, it did that thing where there are 2 monitors and... Well, yeah, because it's doing that thing where it's creating a second monitor. I apologize. Now I have to tell it that there's only 1 monitor. Where is that setting? Why do they move everything around every time they do an update of something? Anyway, so that should do merit. There. Okay. Do I want to keep these settings? Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is my website. At the bottom of it. It's a few pages in. So it contains all of the various things that I am testing at any given time. For example, over the last few months, with the help of Chris Aldrich over there, I've started posting audio posts which together form a podcast. So I am doing that with the whole idea that it will annoy the heck out of everyone who will complain to me, and I will put in better features. So it does have a feed. You can see some of the check-ins that I was testing to make sure still work from Own Your Swarm. Photo posts, and the last thing that I did was based on somebody's suggestion. This is the WordPress admin UI. And you may notice, because all of these posts here have no explicit title, they all say no title, which annoyed someone until they suggested to me that if it has no title, that it should try to figure one out from whatever is there. So if you look, these ones have no title, but they do have one that appears in the interface now. So you might actually be able to tell what it was. Yay! Yeah. So I guess that covers everything. I'll be back at some point, I'm sure.
Thank you for improving my website with me doing nothing.
One more.
I don't have a dongle.
Which one do you need?
I mean, I USB-C. So.
Oh yeah, great.
Oh, you have a USB-C dongle? Handy? Okay. Is it wireless? What's going on here? Oh, HDMI. Let's see. Hi, I'm Eric Drexel. I'm just going to demo my little known blog that I've been running for a little while. It's very simple. Well, it's I have to run the xrndr command manually. Why don't we just plug in yours? Okay. Yeah. What's the URL? It's edrex.pdxhub.org. I've had so many blogs over the years, and I've been very poor about migrating content from previous blogs. So and my whole thing is more back end. I'm always in pursuit of I'm always in pursuit of gathering up all my content from everywhere and putting it in one bucket. And so I work with a open source project called PerKeep, which is sort of trying to do that. And one day I'm going to implement an IndieWeb app that runs on top of PerKeep and uses it as its backing store. This is all, everything's on the back burner and it's coming along. So
Yeah, I've mostly just been using, so known, I don't know if this is fixed in the latest version, but it doesn't handle JPEGs that have rotation in the EXIF very well, as you can see. So I've been just posting my social updates to Facebook, or here, and then linking them to Facebook, which causes them to be down prioritized, but my close friends still see them, and they see that there are alternatives, and so I'm trying to draw people out gradually.